Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P-Funk, thinking right out here in the lab. I'm just having fun. Well, I got some more information I can't wait to lay on you. Let's do what we do. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. The message, the story for life. I give you life lessons. You tune in, receive them. We got a good thing going. Let's rock. Right thinkers mission, and I'm on it, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinkers' way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is to get you to do just that. As a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. I'm gonna give you everything you need to make that happen for you. All you gotta do is tune in and use it. That's right. Know thyself is the question to ask, which is rhetorical. But if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you out with that. That's what I do for you. Let you help you to know you. If you're a person who knows not and knows not that you know not, you're foolish. I have to disregard you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not. Oh, you're simple. I can teach you. That's what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know, you're dangerous. I'll avoid you. Trust me. A person who knows, but knows not that they know, you're spiritually asleep. I can awaken you. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right think, know that self. And to my app, be true. I got a nice little lesson here titled Right Thinkers. Let's talk about the teacher student relationship. Ours. Interesting. Let's go. First of all, the character I'm Tahuti, you're Het Huddle. Get where I'm going with this? So let's go. The character of Tahuti and his relationship with Het Huddle implies another important teaching in relations to the teacher-student relationship. What you mean? An advanced spiritual teacher, such as myself, does not see him or herself as the what? The originator of the teachings. It is God who is working through me or them to what? Bring the teachings forth for the benefit of humanity. I'm just another link in the chain, keeping it going. Remember, I went to the pyramids, dusted off, polished it up, so I'm bringing it back. I'm furthering it. Why? That's what we need. And humanity says it right there. But watch this. People often ask where God is when what? When bad things are happening, and why there is no one to help in time of need. People need to understand, simple, that God is everywhere, especially where in the heart of an authentic spiritual perceptor and in the good intentions of others. Again, your intent may be good, but if your action don't match your intent, it means nothing. So it's there, but watch this. Pay attention. I'm answering the question. However, here we go. However, we got people who need to purify their hearts. How? Because an impure heart, here we go, ignorant person that is constantly producing what? Negative thoughts and ill feelings will not be able to what? Recognize an authentic spiritual perceptor, me, or a good intentions of others, you. Such a mind will what? Become like poison. What's this? Killing what? The vision of goodness in life. Consequently, such dull is egoistic or dull personality will what? Will constantly what? Lead themselves into negative fetters situations and relationships. Thus, what happens? their negative mindset and actions. Here we go. With negative mindset, going to bring on negative actions and will what? Lead them to experiences which seemingly reinforce what? Their own erroneous beliefs. If your belief is wrong, your action going to be wrong. Watch this. And they would not benefit from what? The teachings of even the greatest spiritual teachers. Why? Such as Tahuti, Aset, Jesus, Buddha, etc. These are all teachers who, through the time and their people, they did what they were supposed to do. Now, you got such personalities will have to what? Go through, you ready? Many incarnations. Meaning you ain't learning nothing. You doomed to keep coming back. That's what reincarnation is about. And watch this. And where they will eventually have to learn to what? Follow the precepts of Maya in order to get out of the reincarnation cycle. You need to know thyself, wake up and become one with your higher self, aka the divine. These are the things I'm trying to get my right thinkers to understand so they can practice and find out for themselves just what I'm talking about. Moving on. So, therefore, the compassion of what? The goddess is so great that she has come to the world in the form of what? Scriptural writings, aka Measure and compassion and the spirit of what? Righteous service or selfless service in the human heart of sages and saints and even the high mystical philosophy and of religious iconography. In every area where you becoming God conscious, you have to put in the Maya philosophy. Why? That's how you balance and purify the heart. Righteous, virtuous living. That's what she represents in all walks, even in religion. So there, watch this. There is also a mystical significance, which is what? To the rejoicing in the cities when Haru returned to her rightful place. There's a celebration. Watch this. Now the cities mentioned are Anu, which is the first place, Heka Ptah, and Waset. Hecapata was called Memphis at one time, and Waset was called Thebes. Okay, but they all three relate to the cities of who? The gods of the great ancient Egyptian trinity of gods. Remember them? Amen, Ra, Ptah. Amen hidden, Ra seen, Ptah manifested. In the ancient Egyptian hymns to Amen contain what? The key, to understanding the mystical meaning. Let's see what that is of the teachings. The ancient Egyptian teachings taught that Nebercha, the all-encompassing God, gives rise to Amun, Ra, Ptah, and it explains as what? As the following. Nebercha, I told you before, means what? The supreme being, the all-encompassing one. That's it, the top. Now you got Amen Ra Ptah, and it represents the what? The true manner in which the Supreme Being what? Manifests in creation. Watch. Amun represents witnessing consciousness, the awe of self-awareness. Ra represents what? The cosmic mind, which sustains all mental activity and is the means of what? Consciousness to interact with creation, the sun, the light or the power of consciousness. That's Ra. Now, Ptah. Ptah represents what? The physical universe, which with the witnessing consciousness interacts. And this triad is also related to the human life. How? All human beings have three bodies. Remember, I told you, you got the physical body, which is here. You got the astral body, which is the heaven. Then you got the pet with the physical, the tie, which is astral, and the dua is the casual. The soul, watch this, in every human being is like what? A spark of the self, aka Nabercha, who uses what? These physical bodies in order to what? Have the human experience in the varied forms of life and creation. The spiritual beings having a human experience. The spiritual beings having a human experience because God wants to be in and part of his creation for the ride. Okay? Every human being is God in the physical form, not just that guy y'all call Jesus. Moving on. Gotta keep emphasizing that. The Trinity also what? Relates to what? The human mind. Watch this. How? Because the mind of all human beings experiences what? Three states. One of awareness right now, which is the waking. Then you got the dream, and you got the dreamless state. That's the state you go into that good dream that you don't remember nothing because you go into that conscious space where the virtue resides. You get to hang out with him, and you won't remember it because that's going to be the ultimate when you go back. You're practicing every time you go to sleep to what? Go into the eternal rest where you get to hang out with your higher self, consciously, conceptually, excuse me. And watch this. You got the waking, the dream, and dreamless sleep, as well as you got three modes of manifestation: dullness, ignorant, ego; agitation, mind uneasy; and lucidity, a mind that's aware. Watch the breakdown. So thus, the return of who? Hadu, which is you, signifies the rejoicing in all aspects of a person's personality. The emotions, the intellect will what? The emotion, intellect, will, and the physical nature. This is, of course, what? A description of what? Human beings who has what? Attained spiritual perfection, aka Nihaso, know thyself. Excuse me. When you hear seven, understand this. It's a number that signifies a whole lot of things. Watch this. The 7 day festive relates to, first of all, the seven centers in the psycho spiritual consciousness, meaning in the nervous system, you got the chakras that goes up the spine from this about here to the top of your head. We talked about it, studied about it, but watch this. Now, Het Haru, which is the goddess of the seven aspects of consciousness, in her form as what? The seven divine Haru cows. Who sires the cows? Asar. And the one supreme being, watch this, in the form of a bull, Asar, expresses in what? Seven modes of consciousness. The seven cows, the seven chakras, seven colors of the rainbow, seven planets. Okay, that's seven musical notes, a whole bunch, 7 days of the week. Trust me, seven heavens, seven hell. It's all based on the seven, and they all have their own perspective, which is like the chakra system. So understand that you got seven aspects. Now, Het Haru represents what? Divine consciousness. That's God emanating from what? The divine self, like I just said, God as the eye of Ra, emanating from what? The sun. She, divine consciousness, expresses herself or itself as what? The essence in which sustains what? The mind of every human being as well. Every human being has seven psycho spiritual consciousness centers in their astral body. Everybody has them. Your job, watch this, they're going to tell you how to activate them. Now, these act as what? Transducers of psychic energy from what? The soul level of consciousness. They sustain the physical body. How? Each center relates to an aspect of what? Human personality. As a person develops, your ARAT, ARAT, or your serpent power energy. I got my book over there. Serpent power. That's what we call it in Egypt. But in other places, we called it the serpent power energy. In this inner life force. And everybody known as what? Kundalini in India, Chi in China. So everybody calls it something different, but it's the same thing. Just like God. Understand that. And of the goddess, these energy centers are what? Cleansed, and their power is allowed to unfold. Each one holds a different part of your personality that you had to awaken, master, and rise to the top. That's what right thinking philosophy is trying to get you to do that, but this is telling you how it's done from other perspectives. Same thing. Watch this. So thus, a human being evolves how? Spiritually through what? The power of the goddess. The serpent power. What happened? Watch this. Pay attention. This is the good part. Your serpent power, Kundalini, chi, automatically awakens when what? When a person studies, show yourself approved, and practice daily your teachings, and you perfect and you master them. However, here you go, the process of raising one's spiritual power may be aided by specific exercises, something else to help you along the way. Watch this. Such as what? What is it? What is it? Concentration, spending time in deep thought, proper breathing, controlled breathing makes a difference. Righteous action, selfless service. These are things that I perform on a day-to-day basis. And devotion to the divine. If you're not God conscious, if you're not living right, you ain't showing devotion to the divine. You just spinning your wheels, bird turding, okay, faking it. And the idea of fake it till you make it will never work. Why? God is all about real. He don't do fake. So if you faking it, you ain't never gonna make it in the God realm, in the spiritual concept. Everything is about truth and honesty. Watch this. When you show devotion to the divine by meditation on the meanings of what? Your spiritual symbols that I learned, the Medjugorje, and you what? Surrendering to the will of your higher self. We all say that. I'm a God servant. I'm going with. Not if you're doing nonsense on the low. You think nobody knows. I ain't got my eye on. But that's why I sport the eye. Because I do what's right when nobody's looking. Can you say that? God's always watching. That's why you got to be God conscious. And these teachings, watch this, these techniques will allow a person to what? My purpose for all right thinkers to transform. I call it the caterpillar concept. You have to transform and by their awakening personality. So what? So that they may what? Discover their own inner self for themselves, aka God. For more on the serpent power and the techniques for cultivating it, you can see the book, aka Serpent Power by Dr. Muata Ashby. That's the lesson I wanted to get across, and it's telling you how to get what you need by doing the things that they lay out for you to do. I want to get one more in, but I'm looking at the clock. I can squeeze one more. I'm sorry, I just can't stop. Let's talk about, right quick, the three states of consciousness. And I use the eye, we use the eye as a metaphor. What do you mean? The eye coming into the physical form of the lynx or the lioness, which is Sekhmet, is the symbol, what? For the human existence. She came into the world, and it represents the human soul. In the same way that the eye is a ray or projection of Ra, the supreme being, the human soul is a ray of projection of the supreme being. Again, thus the plight of the eye is what? A parable again, which the sage of ancient Egypt composed in order to what? To explain human existence and to impart the knowledge of spiritual enlightenment for what? Spiritual aspects such as right thinkers to know themselves. In this context, it is similar in most respects to what other initiatic scriptures, especially those from what? India, they called the Upanishads, they had the Bhagavad Gita, then you got the Yoga by Sister, and these are the teachings. Those teachings are given through three main characters in the story. And these are, pay attention, Ra, Het and Tahuti. Remember them? Het displays three distinct states of consciousness throughout the myth. That's what he's showing you. In so doing, the myth outlines what the three important states of religion and the religious practice in a higher and artistic, entertaining manner. Makes it interesting. Put some life to it. Watch this. So true religious practice is what made up of three stages of spiritual practice, as previously discussed. Again, therefore, it requires three stages of teaching or initiatic education information. The first stage is composed of what? The events of the myth. You listen to the story. This includes the events of the story, the characters, and or the deities within said story, the plot and basic themes within the story. Therein lies the knowledge. Now, the second stage is what? The ritual. Rituals include what? The observance, the ceremonies, the customs, etc. That you communion y'all do the first Sunday, but the gathering every week, that's the ceremony, that's the ritualistic concept. That's two things. That's the first two levels. And when I find out about most Christians, they get at that level and some of them stay right there. Watch. So you do everything on the second level, and that's everything that's related to the myth, said myth. But the third level of religion is what's called the mystical experience. Well, what's that? All you Christians, if you don't know what the mystical experience is, just like a Mason not knowing what the Master Mason degree is, that means you quit before you got to the finish line. So you didn't finish. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. So the mystical experience comes only when what? Watch this. The third level is the true and purpose and objective of what? All religious practices. What is it? Without this stage of religion, it becomes dry and ineffective. This is why a lot of Christians run around ineffectively and nonsensical with just a bunch of rhetoric because of the first two levels and what they only got to work with. They never reached the third level, which is why when people only practice the first and second levels of religion, the practice often becomes personal and egoistic, as well as dogmatic and subjective. You argue, fuss, and fight with them at every turn. It's a waste of time. Those are people, I tell you, those who don't know but believe and think they know, that's them. So avoid them. That's my lesson. This, watch this, wrapping it up. And this is the breeding ground, here you go, for what? The major conflict between all these so-called religions, as well as the main part I see is misunderstanding about what true religious practice is all about. I teach it, I live it, I profess it. Y'all should do the same thing. That's all I'm saying. And I hang out with y'all. So I know the ones who do. I see a lot of y'all who don't. That's my point. I'm not getting on the ones who do. I'm with you. It's all the ones who don't. It's a lot more y'all than those who do. So we got the lesson. I'm out.